Let's just get straight into the point, shall we? This is not okay. Like, what is this? Are you trying to mimic delivery on the buses? Look at this. It's so squeezed up, you can't even tell that it's like SMRT pixel livery. It doesn't even do the job well. This is what happens when you try to squeeze everything into a small table with like inconsistent row or column height or width. That's the problem. And I'm telling you this, people who are actually colorblind will not appreciate these changes. And here's the thing, okay, even if you say this isn't like visually appealing, hey, even to me, someone who is like dyslexic towards numbers especially, like I just find it hard to read numbers, but by changing it to this format, you're not only pissing off people like me, you're also pissing off people who actually have some form of like color blindness. They just find it hard to read. Uh, And like or if they cannot see color at all, it's like how are they able to differentiate these numbers when like the colors are so inconsistent? You have white over here, you have red, you have yellow, and it's just a mess. I had came across lots of criticism regarding the new format, mostly in layout and information's presentation. Hence, I am creating this to inform all editors how it will be moving forward and seek your understanding and considerations. Okay, that doesn't sound natural, but whatever. Bro, definition of Wikipedia. DEFINA, what is this? Many editors in SG Wiki buses are bus enthusiasts, but Wikipedia is not an Excel tracking sheet. Okay, I'm just gonna break it to you that SG Wiki is an Excel tracking sheet. And even if it's not what you intended it to be, it is. So stop changing it for no reason. Bus enthusiasts, we use this site, or we in the past used this site to track the bus deployments, and we never ever use it as a wiki. If we want a wiki-like page, if you want a wiki-like page, we use this site. And the reason why we don't want to use SGWiki as in like the reason why we don't see SGWiki as a wiki is because we know that SGWiki's purpose is like it just doesn't really fit the purpose of like being used as a wiki as opposed to LTG, which is way more comprehensive. And right now, you're just trying too hard to be like them for no reason. You're killing off any sort of purpose your site ever has. And even though LTG, like, you know, their history pages, they aren't really as comprehensive as SGWiki, but like, it's more presentable. And I only really go to SGWiki nowadays for the history pages, but even they want to botch it up for some reason. So the main point is that if we want to look at bus deployments or like the exact history of buses, we go to SGWiki. If we want comprehensive, we would go to this site. And we never had the intention of like, you know, changing SGWiki to make it be like LTG or changing LTG to be like SGWiki. No, they are different sites that serve different purposes, and you shouldn't just like, you know, force a purpose out of it, if you get what I mean. According to Britannica, Merriam-Webster, and Cambridge Dictionary, Wiki is an online encyclopedia where visitors are allowed to make changes, contributions, or corrections. If we are going to go even deeper, again, what kind of English is that? Encyclopedia refers to a large collection of information about one or many subjects. The idea of having deployments listing, bus advertisements, and other parts is considered information, but how can we expand this to the public? And this is my issue with this. The public doesn't even know what SGWiki is. They don't care. And frankly speaking, even down the road, it's never gonna become well known to the public. Simply because it's meant for bus enthusiasts. Again, he's trying to like force this wiki to become more appealing to the public, which who like don't even give a damn about the wiki in the first place. That's like delusional on like so many levels. I don't even know what to say. I hope editors could put a moment of pause. Again, what kind of English is that? To think about how the public will see and perceive all of information. What? Okay, again, another mistake. And like, why don't you just hire someone to like do grammatical checks or language checks before you even put this out to people? It's like people wouldn't even take you seriously. And again, like what I said previously, he's just trying to. He's so concerned about like public image when the public doesn't even, as I've said before, give a damn about this site. Is the information encyclopedic? Like, okay, even if this word actually exists, no one, like, even in like official documents, no one uses this word because this word is so vague. It belongs in the disambiguation page. It's like one of those words whereby like it's too scientific. You need to break it down so that people could understand. And I think in his mind, he's probably using this word because, oh my god, if I don't use big words like this, everybody would insult my English. Therefore, I had started this improvement and reorganization of pages. After analyzing past editing patterns by many editors, there are two groups of editors, with the first group is just chasing after buses and edits their changes in bus advertisement, and the other is doing the duty of both bus deployment and advertisement, mainly in deployment cases. The downfall of SGWiki buses can be attributed to the following reason, even without me being involved in the past before this reorganization. The duty roster, I love roasted duck rice, and fleet deployment are not even tallying up, let alone accurate. Even some editors have noticed the change in bus fleet and deployment for a period of time, and yet no editors bother to edit it because they gave up on your site and because you are a control freak. With the former groups now stand a huge percentage. What is this English due to them being young? Oh, that's like the wrong correlation, but okay, whatever. As a result, there are huge gaps in inaccuracy. The only information that is mainly accurate is the advertisement page, which heavily defeats the purposes as stated in point 1. I feel like he's trying to like target a specific group of people. Definition of Wikipedia. This brings me to the second point, advertisement columns. I had initially removed it thinking that it was a hindrance and at least importance of all due to it being functioning as an Excel tracking sheet, which I don't like it. After some suggestions from editors, the whole advertisements columns had been consolidated into a single page. Advertisements on buses. I hope this makes it easier for the groups of editors to just refer to a single page rather than bookmarking so many. The new format merges the former deployment page with the existing current deployment page. This aims to simplify the majorities of the new editors who didn't update the former deployment when editing the change in deployment. The new format enables them to edit it in one go without switching over to the other pages. and acts as a reminder to edit both columns being side by side. The new format also reintegrate is that even a word? Reintegrates by combining all buses into a single running order, regardless of operators, and including the livery of all buses. It was taken into accounts that some models have a large fleet count and hence each table is limited to list only 100 buses and a sorting function had been implemented. Okay, the whole sentence is like all over the place, but whatever. Editors had come to feedback on long table cell spanning across multiple rows and columns, and works have been made to improve on such What kind of English is that? And works have been made to improve on such criticism. You don't improve on the criticism. Oh my god, like this guy needs to go back to school, such as the new format for livery, where which try to mimic as sorry, which try to mimic as close to the actual bus livery at the registration plate column. Oh my god. So they've also talked about color blindness by editors, which was also brought out, and hence the reverting of using background color to images was implemented to denote operators. I don't know what he's talking about. Is he talking about the bus deployments page whereby they have that jank looking SBS Transit or SMRT Pixel livery lookalike thing? I have no idea, but oh my god. This guy is not real. There are stills areas for improvement. This guy's not real. In terms of mobile view, where users had to scroll long for certain information as browsers on mobile devices have a non-user friendly search function, unlike when viewing on laptops or desktop devices. For this, I would like to seek bus enthusiasts' understanding and their ideas for a solution to such problems. You need to know when to put an S and when not to put an S, please. Please do not hesitate to experiment with new concepts and ideas while preserving existing information. I think you meant to say whilst. Again, I'm not gonna fault him too much because his English is really bad. The new SG Wiki deployment by service will be split into multiple pages. Okay, again, your English is terrible. It is still one page, but within one page, there are different categories. Use the correct word, please. The new SGWiki deployment by service will be split into multiple pages, with each page, oh my god, with each pages denotes a full service or supplementary service, which SGWiki rails. Okay, rail is an uncountable noun. You do not say rails. You only say rails when you're referring to individual, like physical rails, like permanent way. But as an entity, you say SGWiki rail, trains. Why do I sound like an English teacher right now? Can be integrated to form a one-stop information rather than a standalone page. This can also be further expanded to the planning area, tourist attractions, and many more in the future. Okay, so basically he wants it to look like a wiki and he wants it to attract the public. Each bus service page will include first and last bus timing, nearby amenities or attractions. Again, this guy is trying too hard to become like, I don't know, SBS Transit Iris app, nearby amenities or attractions, and also history about such services to provide a one-stop comprehensive page and navigation bottom and navigation bottom is implemented for quick access based on categories. Okay, you know what categories mean, so can you use the right word, please? I mean, seriously, one-stop comprehensive page is just bad English. It had also come into my attention that buses on a particular duty slot based on days and timings. Why did he just say days? Is it day or days? Even I am confused. Maybe operated by a particular model or capacity type buses. Uh, Dude, rephrase this please. Regardless of operator. This, regardless of operator, no S, or even perm buses. This will be implemented into the new service page, so editors are free to experiment how to present such information. Editors had also highlighted that this mimics many other websites like LTG, businterchange.net, which is my friend's website, and many more, with the breakdown of bus deployments in SG Wiki buses and the detailed first and last stop for each calling bus stop. I hoped that SG Wiki buses would. Okay, what is that grammar? I had hoped, not I hoped. I hope that SG Wiki buses will be even more informative than those sites out there. So basically, this guy says it is okay to copy Land Transport Guru businterchange.net's format and you're merely adding things, and solely because of that, you're saying that your website is better and more comprehensive. That's not how it works, man. Get a grip. So, in simple words, just because you have the first and last bus for like the major stops and stuff like that, this doesn't mean your website is better than the rest or more comprehensive. That's my point. I really cannot bear to look at this sentence anymore. The correct way to phrase this is I had hoped that SGWiki buses would have become even more informative than those sites out there. Do you see the difference between my version and his so-called English during the ongoing changes? Oh, okay, again, terrible English. It may feel trouble. It may be troublesome. You don't sound natural enough to having. Oh my god. Uh, oh my gosh. It. Oh my god. This guy. It may be troublesome to have to click twice to access the respective pages from bus deployments by service, and editors are making an efforts to. Okay, I think this part he genuinely messed up his train of thought and efforts to shift it to this page for direct access once all services in the old pages had been split out. Bad English again and converted. Bad English. The first table had been removed due to it being integrated with the info box, the information box on the top right hand corner of the page, with a change in how information is being displayed. Regarding the second table, old format, the new fleet count at the top highlights the total fleet size based on the capacity type. Again, you don't say capacity type in English. You have to phrase it better. From the overall fleet size and not based on the per bus count. This reduces the need for counting individual buses and tallying it up. The removal of counting based on the bus model and the corresponding batches was done in consideration for consistency with deployments from services with no perm fleet. This counting also enables those services with no perm fleet to have an accurate number of single-decker, double-decker, or articulated to be displayed. For details such as major high capacity for the public rather than leaving it to chance from a single statement such as any single and double-decker buses, whatever. In addition, some editors will only bother to update the fleet count by model and not the breakdown of batches, which led to the inaccuracy of such pages, hence the removal of batches, but still preserving the model and the listing. Some bus enthusiasts had highlighted the hassle of counting buses based on model and batches, and even in the old format is also in single line and numerical order. I would like to seek their understanding and solutions in solving such a problem. God damn it. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I kind of understand what this is saying, and let me just tell you, like, bus enthusiasts, we have been used to this old format, like, ever since the beginning of time. And the thing is that if you're unable to tell or count how many single deckers, double deckers, and bendy buses there are, you shouldn't even be a bus enthusiast in the first place. I'm just gonna say this. Okay, if you're like a novice and you take some time to get used to it, it's completely fine. When I was like 11, 12 years old, when I first saw the site, I had to learn too. And I'm not saying stuff like, oh, the younger generation should not have it easy. I'm not saying things like this. I'm just saying that like this is much tidier and it's really not a big deal. I've been used to it. I know how to count buses and right now this person is like treating us like idiots. You get what I mean? Which contradicts whatever he has said about being, that so-called one-stop comprehensive, because this is what you call comprehensive. This isn't. You don't call this line over here comprehensive. You call this comprehensive because you can tell which one is Euro 4, which one is Euro 5. Okay, I know there's no like man Euro 4, but like you get the point. You can count how many Euro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. You can count how many batch 2s or anything because bus enthusiasts would love to see this information at one glance. And it's not like one-stop comprehension. Like, get out of here. Like, yeah, same thing. Batch 1, batch 4, production batch or demonstrator. Yeah, and the thing is like everything here is in one straight line. Everything here is in one straight line, and so is this and this, and it's in like ascending order. It's tidy. This is what you call tidy. It's detailed, but it's tidy. And if I was an editor, I would actually put an effort to maintain this form of like tidiness. And it's not because I have OCD. Okay, I actually have OCD, but it's not because I want to like impose it on other people. It's because we all think this is actually tidier. This is like this is like an eyesore, and the only thing you gain from this is super neutral crazy treating us like idiots, thinking we don't know how to count. It's like he's trying to spoon feed us. And let me just read what he's saying again. The thing is that for the public isn't going to care how many single double-deckers or belly buses there are in one service. They are the public for a reason. They aren't gonna like really care about the bus models either. And rather than leaving it, this is very okay. This one is really poorly phrased, but I kind of get what they mean. It's like, okay, he's saying that if the buses are like any single and double-decker buses, it just doesn't look nice. But here's the thing, like ever since BCM, like all the operators, like in Sunli Bus Depot, they have been like moving away from the trend of like perm buses and going towards like flexible deployments. So with flexible deployments, you're like unable to know how many single or double-deckers there are in the first place. And whether you choose to leave it in any single and double-decker buses or choosing to represent this in this format, it really doesn't make a difference because there is no perm bus in the first place. This guy is just like, cooking a statement out of thin air and pretending that, oh, it's significant. And then what else? Some editors will only bother to update the fleet count by model and not the breakdown of batches. Okay, that is more or less skill issue. And which led to the inaccurate. I mean, if you're gonna power trip on them like this, obviously they're not gonna upkeep it. Like, this guy over here has been like micromanaging people, reverting edits as he wishes, and editing himself like a few weeks later so that he can claim credit for everything and completely disregard the efforts of like editors in general. Okay, what am I saying? It's like, so basically he's disregarding people's effort, and it's like when you have a so-called boss, not even a leader, but a boss who is like power tripping, they will be less motivated to even want to get everything accurate because it's like, oh my gosh, this neuter is gonna like revert my edit anyway. I don't think I even need to care. You get what I mean, right? And some bus enthusiasts had highlighted the hassle of counting buses based on model and batches and even okay. Basically, this is where most of the complaints are like coming from. I would like to seek their understanding, no S, and you don't seek their solutions. Oh my god. This is again poor English. Ugh. Feedback had been given by users regarding the, the history pages in what? Feedback had been given in moving towards the okay, your prepositions are wrong, moving towards the new service page, and would like to reverting back to original. And bus enthusiasts are having a keen eyes on how such defunct services would be shifted or purged, with many of them anticipating it. Anticipating it, not anticipating of it. Who taught you this? Being purged away. There's currently no concrete idea from me on how such defunct service history, on how such defunct services history pages will turn out in the future. And I do agree that a reorganization will. This guy doesn't understand the difference between definitely and definitively. God damn it. But I would like to assure all that there is no plan to purge or delete those pages and information until the conversion, reorganization of such information had taken place. So he's basically saying that like for the defunct services, like let's say 206, he's not gonna delete them until they have been like recategorized, basically. Okay, fine. Even though I don't agree with the changes, but okay, fine, at least the logic adds up. Regarding existing services, there may be a plan for a new chronological history page to be created to document all service changes, even for existing services. Okay, like, why do you say regarding existing services and say even for existing services again? I know this part is like with referring to the previous page, but it's like, can you please reread your whole sentence to at least make sure the flow is like somewhat right, okay? Editors are free to propose and experiment in such reorganization. And then point number 6, table-like pages. Readers had come about in their criticism. Bad English again. In regard, nobody says in regarding. Come on, to the layout of pages, like the heavy usage of tables with an S, and how they had ideas off, not on. Your prepositions are wrong again. On improving the user interface and user experience. Experience is an uncountable noun. Of such pages, UI/UX. Okay, if you're not confident of your own spelling, just say UI or UX. It's much better that way and more presentable instead of criticizing online and blunder. I think he meant to say blabbering. Blundering is when you make a you make a mistake, like in chess when you move a piece to a square that would make you lose material. Okay, this is just him being like really salty and unable to take criticism. He's like, no, everything has to be done my way. If you criticize me, it's like You should not criticize me. You must agree with me. And I invite you to create and experiment things in SG Wiki. What's the point? If you cannot take criticism, why would people be inclined to work with you in the first place? Come on! You're just like full of ego. And again, this sentence is like, it's just riddled with grammatical and spelling errors, but okay. SGWiki uses the old traditional editing, phrasing. Okay, I don't know what that means, but meaning editors are bounded to the basic inline styling. Styling code based on new cascading style sheet tree, CSS tree is not available, meaning things like classes and pseudo elements are unavailable in SGWiki. To make matters worse, JavaScript is also not allowed. Existing plugins from JavaScript written by me is available, but such codes had already been outdated with the new coding practices and value changes. But unfortunately, I am no longer able to update, maintain. You were doing so good when it comes to grammar, and you just had to like spoil it by saying modified it. Oh my god. Therefore, please pardon the old style pages because we editors can't do anything about it. Unlike other pages, even Wikipedia had even more functions and capabilities than SGWiki. So he's basically using Wikipedia as like an answer and a scapegoat for everything. Like, is capability a countable or uncountable noun? I don't even know, like whatever. In conclusion, I hope this explains everything edited today regarding the changes, not regarding to the changes. And oh, I give up with this guy. And plans moving forward. Who taught you forwards? Forwards is a word that you only use in really, really specific cases. If you had any questions, if you have, it's present tense. Any questions or suggestions, please feel free to leave it in my talk pages. But as usual, you wouldn't be able to take criticism anyway. Oh my god, my mouth is like, I'm really thirsty right now. I need some water. Okay, so I've tallied up the number of like language or grammatical errors or spelling mistakes. Let's just count all of them. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, oops, 35. I'm not even consistent with the way I write things. 40, or maybe it's because I'm like filming with one hand and then writing with the other hand. 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, and the grand total is 68. Whoops. Yeah, grand total is 68. So there you have it. So in a page that has like 7 points, 7 categories, like contents, table of contents, he has made a total of 68 errors. And I'm telling you this, like in my experience, like, you know, just no offense, but just like hanging out with Singaporeans, none of them even come close. Even those who aren't really like good in English, none of them even come close to this level of like, I don't even know how to say. The thing is, like, I'm not even supposed to be mocking his English, but the thing is, when you want to post something like this, at least have like the decency to spell check everything, or like give it to someone else to read to see if it makes sense. I mean, aside from his like obvious grammatical and spelling errors, like his like cause and effect, he's like it's all wrong, and his sentences don't even flow naturally. It's like he's talking about A and then he just switches to B. It's like his train of thought gets like interrupted midway whilst typing. Even I am making the same mistake again. Midway while typing, and basically the front of the sentence and the back of the sentence, they don't link up together. The link is just not there. And the thing is, like, just as with my other videos, I didn't even script this on my commentary. If I can do it unscripted, this just goes to show that like somebody who is like older than me apparently is like so sensitive when it comes to like criticism. It's like when you run a page like this and you don't listen to your audience and you force people to do things your way based on your own vision, you're bound to get a lot of criticism. And like it's just like he just wants it his way, and he just cannot accept like that people have been using his site as a database. Ugh. Sometimes you just need to like accept accept things as the way they are, because if people are okay with this, are okay with the current state of SG Wiki, don't touch it. If not, then you lose credibility as a so-called leader. And honestly, I think just now, like with the way I worded my sentences just now, I think I have contracted the no link disease from him. And I'm not even scripting this. Like, even me at my worst, unscripted, I still am able to like articulate my thoughts better than him. And I'm not a very smart person, but from one look, I see all the issues with your website. If you're unwilling to change, and if you're unwilling to like actually seek advice from people who are like actually pointing out the flaws in your website, if you refuse to do all of that, then don't go on your page complaining about how people don't want to listen to you. Cause yeah. And the thing is, if this guy is genuinely just crazy, okay, fine. It's his site, he can do whatever he wants with it. But I'm just surprised that people still get gaslighted by him and actually listen to him. Like, what? What? Is this write-up genuine? Yes, it is genuine because of the poor English, and it is genuinely crap. And this guy, honestly, I don't know if you've noticed it, but I've only okay, honestly, when I read this the first time, I had some red flags, but now that I actually read it again, okay, he's ageist. So he's basically saying that uh, even some editors had noticed the change in BuzzFeed and redeployment for a period of time, and yet and yet no editors bother to edit it, with the former groups now standing a huge percentage. Basically, he's referring to the gap. Okay, maybe he's not really being ageist and he's just referring to like the gap between like it's like when things go unedited for a very very long time, they would naturally become inaccurate because it's just not up to date, it's not being updated. But here's the thing, don't say things like this. You're saying this because they're young, and that's not like there's no correlation with them being young and being inaccurate. And you didn't even define young. What if someone who is like 5 or 8 years old, who is like actually more accurate than someone my age who is like 25 going 26 years old. So okay, I take that back. He's actually ageist, or he just is unable to articulate his thoughts. So he just points to like, oh, these bus enthusiasts are young, and therefore they are really immature and don't know real life stuff. Ah.